Work and learn. Meet Light Meet Max. සක්‍රිය කර ගැනීමට MySLT app එකට log වෙන්න. Work and learn. Meet Light Meet Max. සක්‍රිය කර ගැනීමට MySLT app එකට log වෙන්න.
Nava Dove Healthy Ritual. 4 එකක් moisturizing milk, cornflour සහ coconut oil සමගින්.
On 1st at 9 tonight, this Friday the 4th of November 2022. First of its kind, Sri Lanka confirms its first monkeypox patient 3 months after being declared as a global emergency. Solidifying ties. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says Sri Lanka expects to resume FTA with China in order to enhance trade with the country.
There is room to further develop bilateral trade. In China, we are hopeful that negotiations on the free trade agreement will be recommenced in the near future.
Unending. Chairman of Litrogas Lanka Limited, Mudita Peiris, reassures the public will not have to wait in queues for gas cylinders again.
We have secured the LPG supply for the next 1.5 years. Please be assured of our continuous supply.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9 with Andrew Bernard. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Very good evening and welcome to AdaDerana 24's English News. I'm Andrew Bernard. Now in your top story for tonight, Sri Lanka's first monkeypox infection was detected yesterday from a 19-year-old who had returned to the country from Dubai on the 1st of November. However, the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, has reassured the public that the infected is in a stable condition and that the public does not have to fear the situation as the country has the necessary testing facilities and the medications to treat such patients. Sri Lanka confirmed its first case of monkeypox yesterday, 3 months after Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, declared monkeypox as a global emergency. Monkeypox, which is a virus usually found in Central and Western Africa, had spread rapidly earlier this year in Europe and across the world. Sri Lanka's first monkeypox case was confirmed from a 19-year-old Sri Lankan who had returned to the island from Dubai on the 1st of November. The individual in question was referred to the National Sexually Transmitted Disease Clinic after he had displayed blisters on his skin, fatigue and fever. Due to suspicions over the possibility he might have monkeypox, several samples of his blood had been taken and sent to the Medical Research Institute. Yesterday, the MRI confirmed that the 19-year-old individual had contracted monkeypox and was immediately sent to receive treatment at the National Institute of Infectious Disease.
He is currently in good health. He is currently receiving treatment under medical supervision. We have quarantined his close relatives. This is not a situation that should be feared by the people. We have tested 6 other people that were suspected to have been infected with monkeypox. None of them tested positive. This is the first patient that was confirmed in the country. We found this patient because our surveillance system was strong. The MRI currently has the necessary facilities to carry out testing, and we also have adequate medications required to treat such patients, so no one should be afraid.
The most common symptoms of monkeypox include fever, headache, muscle aches, back pain, low energy, and swollen lymph nodes, followed or accompanied by the development of a rash which can last for 2 to 3 weeks. The rash can be found on the face, palms of the hand, soles of the feet, eyes, mouth, throat, groin, and genital or anal regions of the body. Symptoms typically last 2 to 3 weeks and usually go away on their own or with supportive care such as medication for pain or fever. Monkeypox spreads from person to person through close contact with someone who has monkeypox rash, including face-to-face, skin-to-skin, or mouth-to-skin contact, including sexual contact. According to the WHO, over 78,000 monkeypox patients have been reported from 109 countries. The global health body has also placed the average fatality rate from the rare disease between just 3 to 6%. In addition, the vaccine used for smallpox and monkeypox can be used to control the spread of the virus. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe reiterated hope on Sri Lanka resuming negotiations with China on the free trade agreement between the two countries as part of expanding Sri Lanka's reach and presence in the Chinese market. Now, President Wickremesinghe made these statements while addressing the opening ceremony of the 5th China International Import-Expo today.
It was during the first forum of the Belt and Road Initiative back in 2017 that the CIE was first unveiled. Since then, the CIE has been both an important step in trade liberalization as well as a vital tool in strengthening economic cooperation around the world. This international import-themed expo fair is an innovative stage in the developing countries' attempts to enter the Chinese market. The CIE has allowed many countries and businesses to enjoy the benefit of the growing consumption appetite of the Chinese people. Sri Lanka has been participating in the CIE since its inception. Our businesses have benefited greatly through this participation. We have been provided the opportunity for our industries to establish a foothold in the Chinese market. China is Sri Lanka's biggest source of imports, and there is room to further develop bilateral trade. We are hopeful that negotiations on the free trade agreement will be recommenced in the near future.
The chairman of Litro Gas Lanka Limited, Mudita Peris, assures that the state gas supplier has the ability to supply gas to the market without a shortage, adding that more LPG vessels are expected to arrive in the country within the next few days. Speaking at a media briefing today, the Litro chairman said the stage LPG supplier has secured sufficient cooking gas for 1.5 years.
There appears to be a panic situation in the market with regard to the LPG stock. I assure that we have enough of stocks to service the market. Due to the bad weather, the ship which was due to arrive today has delayed by 2 days, which is Sunday early morning, and will come by Sunday evening. We have observed that some of the dealers also have shown reluctance to buy cylinders and stock due to the expectation of the policy price formula revision. However, pricing will be finalized and announced by Sunday early in the morning, and after the approval of the Finance Ministry, we will announce same. Further, in addition to the vessels in Harmony, Epic Bolivar is also due to arrive on Sunday, and another ship called PGC Petrias will arrive on early morning Monday. We have secured the LPG supply for the next 1.5 years. Please be assured of our continuous supply.
Now, the Needs Assessment Report for October 2022 by the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies has revealed that at least 5.7 million people in Sri Lanka require immediate humanitarian assistance. The IFRC report highlighted that the economic crisis in the country, people are becoming the victims or perpetrators of crime and theft, and encouraging more people to leave the country for employment opportunities, while human trafficking is said to have increased and families breaking up. The International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies says that at least 5.7 million people in Sri Lanka require humanitarian assistance at the moment. It was revealed by the IFRC in its Needs Assessment Report for October 2022. They stated that without immediate humanitarian assistance and upstream interventions to address the fragility of systems, services and facilities, this number will multiply and the consequences will deepen. Due to the economic crisis, food security and livelihoods have suffered directly. The report pointed out, adding that access and availability of basic services such as education and healthcare, including hospital maternity care and sexual reproductive health services, have also been disrupted. The IFRC noted that in addition to the impact on education, child protection risks have also risen. They added that a serious decline in domestic agricultural output brought on by an unsuccessful agricultural transition to organic farming has deepened the crisis. If the critically damaged systems, services and facilities are not urgently restored, those who are already vulnerable are likely to be pushed further down a pathway towards destitution, the IFRC stressed. They emphasized that households and families across the country are already employing negative coping strategies such as reducing meals, postponing medical care, taking children out of school, and employing children to provide income, and depleting and selling their assets. People are now more often becoming the victims or perpetrators of crime and theft. People are migrating in search of employment, human trafficking is said to have increased, and families are breaking up. The assessment found that household purchasing power is constrained by food inflation and that disruptions to livelihood and food insecurity have increased, raising worries about malnutrition. Now, insights from Minister of Industries Ramesh Pathiran on how the government will strengthen local manufacturing. Stay with us to find out more details.
අයිනෝ රයිනෝ පුතා හැබැයියා ගෙදර නිදියන්නෙම අමූතු තැනක.
කාලගුණය කොහොමුණත් රයිනෝ නං වාලට සේෆ් තමයි මුළු ගෙදරම. Rhino Cement Roofing Sheets. Then you know Rhino. I know.
Big 3.
Welcome back. Now, State Minister of Finance Shayan Semasinga says the process of obtaining an IMF loan facility is in the final stage, and Sri Lanka is hopeful that the approval of the IMF Director Board will be received by the end of this year. Addressing a media briefing today, he also said Sri Lanka's creditors have expressed their support to restructure Sri Lanka's debt and in providing financial assurances.
චීනය ඉන්දියාව ජපානය ඇතුළු බහුතර ණය හිමියන්ගේ සහභාගීත්වය තිබ්බා වගේම ඔවුන් අපිට සහයෝගය ලබා දෙන්න අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු හෝමාරු කර ගැනීම සිදු කරා. අපි දැන් අවසාන අදියරේ. එහෙනම් කිසිදු රටක් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට පිටුපාන්නේ නැහැ කියන විශ්වාසය අපි ළඟ තියෙනවා.
IMF ණය මුදල කොපමණ කාලයක් ඇතුළත ලැබෙයි කියලා විශ්වාසය තියෙනවා.
අපි ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ඇෂුරන්සස් ලබා දුන්නු විගස ඔවුන්ගේ අධ්‍යක්ෂක මණ්ඩලය මේ වන විට ඒ අනුමැතිය ලබා දීමට සූදානමින් ඉන්න අපේ විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා අපිට මේ වර්ෂය අග වෙද්දී මේ අනුමැතිය ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා.
New opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says light at the end of the tunnel can be achieved via sound governance that consist of good policies and a policy-making structures. He made these comments addressing the inauguration of the Young Professionals Organisation of the Samgi Janabalavegia. Addressing the same event, parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva said Sri Lanka's future depends on a level of jobs created in manufacturing, adding that it can be achieved by creating efficient enterprises.
The inauguration of Young Professionals Organisation of Samag Janabalavegia was held recently in Colombo under the patronage of its party leader Sajith Premadasa.
Even though we are in the midst of an economic, social and political catastrophe, I do see light at the end of the tunnel. Light that is created by sound governance. A future that is determined through a participatory governance system. A target-oriented government that achieves its ends to the fullest in the shortest possible time period. We need to have sound policy. We need to have sound policy-making structures. We need to formulate policy in a professional manner. We need to ensure that we walk the talk, that we implement what we preach to the country, what we declare to the country, and most important of all, we have to make sure that our governance remains relevant, that our governance processes freeze out the massive amount of human energy, the entrepreneurial skills, the thirst for new technology, for modern methodologies, in order to achieve inclusive growth and shared prosperity. We have to develop our own approach. We need to think anew. We need to be innovative. We need to be smart. We need to be strategic. And we also need to be efficient, transparent, responsible, and accountable. I see a new dawn for our motherland. A new dawn that is based on participatory governance. The very essence of the struggle was to ensure that we have participatory governance and participatory decision making in determining the destiny of 22 million people in our country.
Our future has to be through jobs created in manufacturing. And if people think that we are not able to participate in global manufacturing, I'm going to tell you that it is wrong. It is true that we are a service country. It is true that we need tourism. We need all the other things. Software exports obviously is going to be major. But if you think about this country where it is now, and we need to bring our people back on track and create jobs, where are those jobs going to come from? What we need to do is to create efficient enterprises in this country. We need to create highly productive enterprises, and jobs must be created where we can grow without the associated inflation with growth. Our industrial journey has been very lopsided. That is because we didn't participate in what we call production sharing networks. So the prime mover in the global shift of production to developing countries has been the concept of sharing production. And we missed out on that entire journey. We have to somehow create the opportunities, incentives, the platforms for people to come in and participate in these global production networks and start creating jobs. This is the best time, if there was any time at all in our past, to make these changes.
Now, an urgent shipment of medical aid provided by the Qatar Fund for Development to support the health sector arrived in Sri Lanka recently. Qatari ambassador to Sri Lanka, Jassim bin Jabbar Al Sororu, received the medical aid and was handed over to him by the Minister of Health, Kehelia Ramukwelda. In a statement, the Qatar Fund for Development said the urgent medical assistance will play a pivotal role in promoting health and will continue in easing the burden of the country's health sector. In business news, the Minister of Industries, Ramesh Patirana, says a ring-fencing mechanism is important to support local manufacturers. Addressing the Sri Lanka Packaging Awards 2022, the government should spend more industrial development since more fund allocation from the past was into the development of education, health and agriculture.
Sri Lanka Packaging Awards 2022, organised by Sri Lanka Institute of Packaging, was held yesterday under the patronage of Minister of Industries, Dr. Ramesh Patirana.
So it's not an easy time for the industrialists in this country. It's a turbulent time socially and economically. But like the silver lining of the dark cloud, Sri Lankan exporters, with your help, have performed exceptionally well, having contributed meaningfully to uplift the export gains of the country during last 2 years. The Sri Lankan industrial sector, on its own small way, had contributed significantly to Sri Lankan economy. We are agricultural-based economy. A lot of people do talk about the situation, how the social structure, how the social fabric changed during last 73 years since independence. Some say it's a curse to the country. But I would say the successive Sri Lankan governments of this country have spent significant sum of money for the free education, free health sector, and also for the agricultural sector development. But they have not provided that necessary impetus and the cash flow to the industrial sector. So it's something that we need to look into, and on futuristic basis, we are trying to convince our government to produce or infuse more capital to the development of the Sri Lankan industrial sector. But unfortunately, we started embracing this trading economy after 1977, which had seen the gradual or the natural death at that time. The Sri Lankan entrepreneurs had to compete with the cheaper imports from the other countries. So it's never too late to do the right thing. I think we are looking back now. We have to strengthen the Sri Lankan manufacturing sector. We have to strengthen the hands of the people, those who do something in this country. So that ring fencing kind of mechanism we have to institute on a long-term basis to ensure whoever that produce something to export or for the import substitution or for the local need, that we provide necessary support for them. We protect them for the futuristic basis. The global ratings agency S&P Global cut Sri Lanka's bonds by 2 notches to D from CC, pushing it deeper into junk territory following mixed interest payments due on the 14th and 28th of September this year. In a statement, the agency said they do not expect the government to make payments on the international sovereign bonds within 30 calendar days after their due dates. The agency affirmed its CCC- long-term and C short-term currency sovereign ratings. Further, S&P outlook on long-term local currency ratings remain negative. The Sri Lankan shares closed lower for a third straight session on Friday, dragged down by healthcare stocks. The all-share price index closed 0.2% lower at 8,491.80. For the week, the index fell 2.7%. Distilleries Company of Sri Lanka and Brown's Investments were the top drags today, falling 5% and 3.3% respectively. Trading volume on the SPI fell to 28.2 million shares from 50.2 million in the previous session. The market turnover was 817.8 million Sri Lankan rupees. Foreign investors were net buyers, purchasing 13.7 million rupees of shares, while domestic investors were net sellers, offloading stocks worth 8,006.6 million rupees. And that's all the news we have for this evening. Join us again tomorrow at the same time. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.
News and information you can trust 24 hours a day. Visit AdaDerana.lk.